Hare Krishna Namaste. Welcome to day 2. We're reading the Bhagavad Gita as it is by Srila Prabhupada. We'll be doing the preface. Originally, I wrote the Bhagavad Gita as it is in the form in which it is presented now. When the book was first published, the original manuscript was unfortunately cut short to less than 400 pages, without illustrations and without explanations for most of the original verses of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. In all of my other books, Srimad Bhagavatam, Shri etc., the system is that I gave the original verse, its English translation, word for word Sanskrit English equivalents, translated and purport. This makes the book very authentic and scholarly, and makes the meaning self-evident. I was not very happy, therefore, when I had to minimize my original manuscript. But later on, when the demand for the Bhagavad Gita as it is considerably increased, I was requested by many scholars and devotees to present the book in its original form. A Messrs. Maclellan and Co. agreed to publish the complete edition. Thus, the present attempt is to offer the original manuscript of the Great Book of Knowledge with full parampara explanations in order to establish Krishna consciousness movement more soundly and progressively. He'll explain it further ahead. Our Krishna conscious movement is genuine. We are now ahead. Historically authorized, natural, and transcendental, due to its being based on Bhagavad Gita as it is, it gradually becoming the more popular movement in the entire world, especially amongst the younger generations. It is because more and more interesting to the older generations also. Older generations are becoming interested, so much so that the fathers and grandfathers of my disciples are encouraging us by becoming life members of our great society. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness in Los Angeles, many fathers and mothers used to come to see me to express their feelings of gratitude for leading the Krishna conscious movement throughout the entire world. The whole world. Some of them said that it is greatly fortunate for the Americans that I have started the Krishna conscious movement in America, but actually the original father of the movement is Lord Krishna himself. Since it is stated a very long time ago, but is coming down to human society by disciplic succession, if I have any credit to this connection, it does not belong to me personally, but it is due to my eternal spiritual master, His Divine Grace, Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivakacharya, 108, Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada. If personally I have any credit in this matter, it is only that I have tried to present Bhagavad Gita as it is without adulteration. Before my presentation of Bhagavad Gita as it is, almost all English edits of the Bhagavad Gita were introduced to fulfill someone's personal ambition. But our attempt in presenting Bhagavad Gita as it is to present the mission to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Our business is to present the will of Krishna, not of any mundane speculator like the politicians, philosophers, or scientists, for they have very little knowledge of Krishna, despite all their other knowledge. When Krishna says, Man manma bhava mad bhakto, mad yaja mam namaskru, etc., we, unlike the so-called scholars, do not say that Krishna and his inner spirit are different. Krishna is absolute, and there is no difference between Krishna's name, Krishna's form, Krishna's quality, Krishna's pastime, etc. The absolute position of Krishna is difficult to understand for any person who is not a devotee of Krishna in the parampara, disciplic succession system. Yeah, like, real quick, God is infinite, and why do we restrict him to a 5-letter word? Why do we restrict him to a piece of paper, a form, a personality? He is so much greater than we can even comprehend. Back to the book. Generally, the so-called scholars, politicians, philosophers, and swamis without perfect knowledge of Krishna try to banish or kill Krishna when writing commentary on Bhagavad Gita. Such unauthorized commentary upon Bhagavad Gita is also Mayavadi Bhasya. The Lord Chaitanya has warned us about these unauthorized men. Lord Chaitanya clearly said that anyone who tries to understand Bhagavad Gita from a Mayavadi point of view will commit a great blunder. The result of such blunder will be that misguided students of Bhagavad Gita will certainly be bewildered on the path of spiritual guidance and will not be able to go back home, back to Godhead. That's the thing about a secret. Everyone thinks they know the secret, but the sad truth is only a few people have it. And as this Hare Krishna society is kind of mentioning, if you try to understand the Gita in a speculative manner, like, sure, you can have some good points, but the real juice, the real instructions will be missed. And it's a very sad point. Some people really appreciate what they've learned and what they know. But again, if you don't learn from someone who has seen it, then you'll never know. It'll just be fully speculation. Who am I? I seriously think I've seen a little bit. I've been in this movement my whole life, and I've heard a lot of nuance. And I've backed away from those nuance, and I choose to feel with my heart. That's why I'm reading this book, because I think I don't know what I've done, but I have a lot of love to share. Let's get back into it. Our only purpose is to present the Bhagavad Gita as it is in order to guide the conditioned student to the same purpose of which Krishna descends to the planet once every day of Brahma, or every 8,600,000 years. What does that even mean? Like, we're so lucky that only every 8,600,000 years we are presented with this knowledge. It doesn't happen every millennia. It doesn't happen every cycle. Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwarpa Yuga, Kali Yuga. It doesn't happen every single time. It only happens once every day of Brahma. On top of that, there's a night. So it's not 8,600,000. It's like 14 million, something like that. So here, why is it a blunder? Because we are so lucky to have this knowledge. We should just get it from the purest source possible. And how do we know it's a pure source? It's saying here, he didn't want to adulterate it. He's only taking from his teachers. And we have a disciplic succession. We have some sort of structure. We're not coming from some interpretation. This purpose is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, and we have to accept it. So yeah, like, if someone tells you something and you don't accept it, then you don't really consider them a teacher. So for our understanding, this book, we're going to read it and we're going to believe it. And we're going to be like, okay, that's interesting. Let's keep going. That's interesting. Let's keep going. Let's not speculate. Let's not stop all the time like I'm doing now and talk about the speculation. But this is my channel, so I'm going to do what I want. And I'm just going to tell you, like, how does someone even understand 8,600,000 years? That does not make sense. Just like a fly has a lifespan, a tortoise has a lifespan, a sperm whale has a lifespan. Earth, planets have a lifespan. A chemical reaction has a lifespan of a moment. So what do we really know? What do we really know? How long does a mountain live for? We have to accept this fact and thus understand the historical significance of the Bhagavad Gita. Because, I missed a part. Lord Krishna first spoke the Bhagavad Gita to the sun god some hundreds of millions of years ago. Hundreds of millions of years ago. And we believe that is the truth, that Krishna spoke to the sun god. There is stories about it in other Puranas. We have to accept the fact that thus understanding the historical significance of Bhagavad Gita without misinterpretation on the authority of Krishna, to interpret Bhagavad Gita without any reference to the will of Krishna is the greatest offense. Low-key, I don't know if I got Krishna's will, but I'm here, and I'm going to show up. And I think a lot of people show up. So congratulations to them. But we're lucky we have Srila Prabhupada. In order to save oneself from the offense, one has to understand the Lord as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as he was directly understood by Arjuna, Lord Krishna's first disciple. Such understanding of Bhagavad Gita is really profitable and authorized for the welfare of human society and fulfilling the missions of life. There's social workers, and they're like, oh, you Hindus, all you do is chant and dance and eat and, waste flowers and pour milk on idols, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, those welfare workers are putting extra money in their pockets. They're not giving help to the people that need it. They have 5 cars. They have lots of civilization but no culture. So this book is to teach us about culture, dharma. Dharma means your eternal duty. The eternal duty of fire is heat. The eternal duty of a human is to serve God, the supreme personality of Godhead. What is God? The supreme personality of Godhead. The Krishna conscious movement is essential in human society, for it offers the highest perfection of life. How this is so, see this, some additions. This is why this book got edited. This is so explained fully in the Bhagavad Gita. Unfortunately, mundane wranglers have taken advantage of the Bhagavad Gita to push forward their demonic propensities and mislead people regarding right understandings of the simple practice of life. Trigger alert. The guy who worked with Hitler, he actually read the Gita, and he picked a verse in the Gita saying, oh, all these people are going to die anyway. So, like, it's okay. So he literally used that verse as like a very manipulative thing. It's not good. It's not good. See, that's what it says here. People mislead. Demonic people will take the Gita and they'll use the power for their own personal gain. The difference between a saintly person and a demonic person, the saintly person gives credit to God. A demonic person will give credit to himself for all the efforts that he's done. He didn't really do anything. God gave him everything to do. Do you understand what I'm saying? These demonic people think, I have done this, so I'm so amazing. But really, God gave you the opportunity to do it, so we should be grateful. Back to the book. Everyone should know how God or Krishna is great. And everyone should know the factual position of the living entities. Everyone should know that living entities is eternally a servant and the useless ones serve, and that unless one serves Krishna, one has to serve illusion in different varieties of the 3 modes of material nature. So I kind of mentioned that, where either you give gratitude to God, or you give gratitude to the illusion that you think. You put a VR set on, and then you go on a balancing thing, and all of a sudden you start losing your balance and you fall down, but you were standing on ground the whole time. It's because your eyes, your ears, your senses were being lied to. And thus, back to the book, thus, perpetually, one has to wander within the cycle of birth and death, the illusion. Even the so-called liberated Mayavadi speculators has to undergo this process. This knowledge constitutes as a great science, and each and every living being has to hear it for their own interest. Quick. This whole Mayavadi thing, impersonalism thing, all is one. Sure, okay, that's one aspect of God, but that's not the end result. Consciousness has a personality. How are we here without some sort of like personal connection? All is one, but there's different milkshakes. All is milkshake, but there's strawberry milkshake, there's chocolate milkshake, there's vanilla milkshake, there's banana milkshake, but the same ingredient is the milk. So that's the personality. But to say, oh, all is one, milkshake is milkshake, it's okay. But no, there are varieties, there's personality. God is so amazing that he gives us the ability to love him on our own accord. That's what love really is, to love someone with your own will and desire. If you don't love someone with your own will and desire, it's forced, and it's not real love. Back to the book. In general, especially in this age of Kali, are enamored by the eternal energy of Krishna, and they wrongly think that advancement of material comforts, every man will be happy. They have no knowledge that the material or external nature is very strong. The material or external nature is very strong. For everyone is strongly bound by the stringent laws of material nature. A living entity is happily the part and parcel of the Lord, and thus his natural function is to render immediate service to the Lord. By the spell of illusion, one tries to be happy by serving his personal sense gratification in different forms which will never make him happy. Instead of satisfying his own personal material senses, he has to satisfy the senses of the Lord. That is the highest perfection of life. The Lord wants the Lord wants this, and he demands it. What does he demand? Um, Instead of satisfying his own personal material senses, he has to satisfy the senses of the Lord. That is the highest perfection of life. The Lord wants this and he demands it. One has to understand the central point of the Bhagavad Gita. Our Krishna consciousness movement is teaching the whole world the central point. And because we are not polluting the theme of Bhagavad Gita as it is, anyone seriously interested in deriving benefit from studying the Bhagavad Gita must take the help of a Krishna conscious movement for a practical understanding of the Bhagavad Gita under the direct guidance of the Lord. We hope, therefore, that people will derive the greatest benefit of studying the Bhagavad Gita as it is, as we have presented it here. And if even one man becomes a pure devotee of the Lord, we shall consider our attempt a success. Introduction. So we got some time. I like to make these videos 20 minutes. So, we really need help from somebody. We really need help from a person. And that's why I think like Yeshua, Lord Jesus Christ, came and we received his help. He gave us, and like just like the Buddha, Gautam Buddha, he came and gave us help. He said, enough with all this, all this nonsense. Just serve God, love God. Is the word. The word is good. That's why we need to learn from someone who knows the book. I'm not saying I know the book, but I've been in the culture. I've been in the society. I've listened to it. I've read it one or twice. I've listened to it a few times. And what I'm telling you is this is a beautiful journey. And the fact that we're here right now really does mean that we are on the right path. And even if we stray away, we have a devotional bank account. We have a spiritual bank account. And the fact that we did some good in this lifetime, we can look back when we go to check our balance when we pass away, because you can't check that balance. Yamaraj comes and says, hey, this is what you've done your whole life. You did this, you did this. I see you played a lot of video games. I see you watched a lot of, nonsense, R-rated content. You're doing this nonsense. You're doing drugs and stuff. But oh, look, you decided to take on Krishna consciousness. You decided to read a book for your benefit. You know what? Try again. Try again. But if we live our whole lives enamored in illusion and like so focused, see, the mind is like a barking dog. Oh, focus on me, focus on me. I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. And then people are saying, oh, I hear God, I hear this, I hear that, this like faint little noise. That's the spirit speaking love and divinity to you. But because we're so attached to the flesh and this barking dog here, it's hard for us to settle into who we truly are. When the police walk by, we get scared and start following the rules even more. So we are servants of somebody just because we're aware of it. But look, God is in every atom, and that's how we serve him. We serve him because he is there, present in our lives. Where is God? Where is this? Who gave you life? Oh, my mother and father. Who gave them life? Who gave them life? Who gave everybody life? Life came from somewhere. Life didn't come from an inert matter. We're going to end this talk very soon. I'm really grateful to do day 2. This book is beautiful and amazing, and I'm so excited to read more. I'm going to figure it out as time goes by. I really enjoy my talks, and I want to maybe put them at the beginning, but no, we got to read the book first. Read the book. That's the idea. Don't just listen to someone start talking out of nowhere. So read the book. Let's talk about it. I'm your host, Krishna Kirtandas, and I'm really grateful that my teachers have provided me such beautiful literature. Adios, amigos. Take care. Hare Krishna.